Hello and welcome to a new Hearts of Iron series. Our last one was kind of boring and I played horrendously in it because it was the first time I was playing, you gotta cut me some slack there. But we're gonna start a new campaign today. I've been playing a lot off camera, so I feel like I'm a lot better player. That's not saying I'm the best player, not by any standard, but I think I'm better. So 1936 as per usual. We're gonna play as France. Not the hardest country, but not an easy one either. So, obviously, a big goal here, as generally most games go, you gotta take down Germany. That will always be one of the bigger goals to achieve. I'm gonna, in the true spirit of Paradox games. Oh my god, it just started raining. That came down quickly. Alright, well, so in that case, if you hear any like bumping around and whatnot in the back of the video, well then sorry, but I need to record this because I'm running out of videos. Anyway, so in the true spirit of Paradox games, I'm gonna have the historical AI focuses off. Now, it could come as a benefit to me having that off, especially playing as France. But oh my god, it just started hailing. Where the hell did that come from? I'm sorry, but that was unexpected. Right, okay, I'll try not to let the rain distract me here. I must feel like a 4-year-old child or something. Everything I knew that I see is just like, oh my god, wow. Anyway, okay, so I'll stay on topic here. Right, so Circle AA focuses off. Right, so in the games that I've been playing off camera, I was playing as a fascist Argentina. That was a really fun game. There's just so many weird things going on, like, for example, Italy created his own faction. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, I don't really care about the hail, but it's just more if you guys can hear it. That could be an issue. I'll have to see the video later. Anyway, so yeah, in that last game, Italy ended up forming their own factions, like the Legionary Romana or something like that, and it was super cool. They got all the Balkans as a part of them. They attacked Greece. Poland formed its own faction with all the Baltic states here. Germany never declared on Poland. Instead, it got caught up trying to attack France and lost. I think it was 2 million men trying to attack France and didn't even win. And then the entire time they've been invaded by the UK. Like Japan lost control over China and ended up losing like 2 million men themselves. It was hilarious to see, to be completely honest. So we're going to play as France with that off because I think it really changes up the game. It adds so much replayability, and obviously if you want that authentic like sort of World War II simulator, then yeah, sure, chuck on the historical AI focuses. I think it's still a great way to play it. But I feel like it's a bit easier because you know what the enemy is going to do. That's sort of what it feels like, but that's okay. Right, so starting out, we've got to look at our situation. As France, we are 69% democratic and 30% communist. And what is that, like the tiniest 1% fascist? Interesting. We have a few modifiers here because we won the Great War. We've got less recruitable population and 75% increased time for researching land doctrines. So that's pretty bad for us, especially fighting Germany, who get a lot of buffs. They're really strong in this. Disjointed government, so we're losing political power from that, and we've lost a bit of national unity. And the imaginary line is another little buff. So we get, what was it? 25% max planning, but 25% less planning speed. So, and something you want to do earlier on. In terms of national focuses, obviously being France, a pretty major country at this time, we do get our own custom national focus tree. And one thing I want to do is this, the little entente. Because it's going to be awesome, because as much as we love Britain, if we join them, they will do wonderful things for us. And they do have good things. Weekly national unity going up is really good. And getting rid of the disjointed government is good because that will help our already horrendous national unity. But my sort of thinking here is we don't have to worry about national unity if we're not going to be invaded. Right. I mean, obviously we're going to be attacked, but being actually pushed back past our lines, I don't think that's going to happen. So we've got to decide what we want to do here. We could go down this tree here. That is one thing that I want to do, but I really need to have a good look at this tree. So going down there is interesting because we do get Yugoslavia and Romania, which would be useful against creating another front against the Germans, but I don't think they'll be able to hold it by themselves. So I feel like it wouldn't be as strong. Granted, having Poland being able to fight with us as well would be really strong. But there's other ways there. We could, I mean, just join Germany by itself. This is why I love I mean, I think Paradox has done a really good job of really like being able to give you options to really mix it up this game. So, I mean, we could join Germany. I think, obviously, we've got to beat Germany. That's going to be the first big goal and big challenge. But then after that, I definitely want to try and invade Britain. I've never successfully done it, and it's something I want to try because getting control over Britain, first of all, is going to be super tough because Britain's a very strong nation. And then being able to actually land on them, that's going to be even tougher. So, ruling Italy could be really good as well. Because then there's a lot of fronts for the Germans to deal with. And having Italy out of the way means we can focus entirely on the Maginot Line and the Belgian border if Germany decides to invade through there. So that's also another possibility. So, I've got to think, what do we want to do here? It's an excellent question. I mean, if we were Italy, one thing must be true, current ruling party is fascist. Ah, okay, so we'd have to start going down here, get the daily fascism support, so that's interesting. Wouldn't be easy considering we have 1% fascist, but if you start to boost the fascist power in your country straight away, then you should be set by the time the Great War comes around. In terms of actually managing to get to this, move national spirit protected by the Maginot. Okay, interesting. Move disjointed government, gains national spirit, army of aggression. So more organization and war goal justification time goes down. So that's pretty useful. In terms of actually getting this, it is only a decision. It's not. It won't give us a war goal. A lot of these give us war goals. Whereas this is just an actual decision for the Italian government, which I don't think they'll accept. I'm not feeling confident in that. So I think we'll probably have to go down to getting our little entente here. So I do want to get. Do I want to get the government? I think I do want to get the government reformed straight away. I need the political power just so I can start getting these silent workhorses, because we already do lose some political power because of the fact of our disjointed government here. So it'd be good to get that back in production. Italy is scary, and there's the possibility that if Spain becomes nationalist, if they do win this civil war, then that's a whole other front for us to deal with. One thing we do want to do is potentially taking out Brussels and the Netherlands ourselves. Granted, it would create a huge front with us, with Germany, that we would be a lot more strained to defend. Obviously, if we just have the Maginot Line, then we are absolutely okay. I mean, it starts out with level 10 forts, which is like impossible to take. I mean, each level of the fort adds or gives the enemy negative 15% for each fort, and there's 10 of them, so 150% less attack. That's, I mean, it's impossible to take. So if we were to move up here, then we get direct control over that front, and that will be a lot better for us. But I also don't feel confident being able to hold it against the German advance. We will just get our researchers online here, just because the first few ones are pretty simple. You sort of understand what you want to get, just because all these are just super strong and very important to get in the early game. We're going to get all our navies together. So one thing to keep in mind is we do have land in Africa, and I believe even some, yeah, so we do have French Indochina over here, which I'm not too keen on protecting. One thing to keep in mind is there is rubber down there, a very And rubber is important, we will need it. We currently have a surplus of 46, but that is purely only because we have 94 down here. I think that's the only province we have down there. So keeping control of French Indochina will be important. I don't know how effectively we're going to be able to protect it, but against the almost inevitable Japanese advance, then that's going to be something to keep in mind. Just trying to decide how we want to do this. We have a bunch of free civilian factories. It's definitely not a bad idea to just start building military factories from the start. And we only have 6, which is actually so much less than I thought it would be. With that in mind, I'm going to go straight into military factories. I honestly thought we would have a lot more military factories, but understandably they've been pretty destroyed. We're going to build them up down to the south here. How much civilian factories do we have? We've got 36 civilian factories, so that's not too bad. A fair bit of it's being used for trade, but we want to build all these factories down towards the south here, because if we do eventually go up to attack the UK, they're going to be bombing us pretty heavily, and I'm not sure there's too much we can do about that. So we do generally have a pretty big surplus, although we're lacking oil. Right, we only need 9 for that. So we'll set that up. Just say Argentina. Nice simple 9, even us out. And we're going to create, so we'll just quickly get this guy into an army. This will be a French theatre. We'll make this the Eastern Front. Obviously it's Eastern for us, but I do that just so it's something I can remember. We'll probably have like 90% of our units down there. And then we'll just grab a really small force. They're going to be part of just the French home defense. Just something as like a garrison. Probably also to help with the Italian lines. It would help if I could spell French right, which is kind of embarrassing. I know how to spell it, it's just typing is hard, especially when your microphone is in front of your keyboard. So, that is them. We'll just give them like border with Spain for now. I don't think it'll be too important. Hopefully it's not too important. So we want to look at our navies here. Most of them are in northern France. We do have land in Africa as well. So that will be important to defend the Mediterranean as well, because Italy could be a problem. If they form their own faction, then it won't be as bad, because we'll just have to fight Germany and won't have to spend as much men down on this southern frontier. But we still do have to be careful. So I'm just going to select all my naval ships here that aren't in Southeast Asia, even the ones in the Middle East. I will bring them all together. What is our biggest port? It looks like this one down here, 100 limit, which I think we've got more units than that. But that is our biggest naval base for now. So we'll send them all there. Get them all into one big spot. We'll do the same with our airplanes, just so it's easier to just get them all prepared. These guys looks like they're on carriers. I assume that's what that symbol means. I've again, I haven't spent a lot of time getting all the finer details of this, so play will never be fully optimal. What will be useful? Cruisers will be useful. We're gonna they can automatically deploy to that. That's okay. Destroyers. We don't have very good naval production at the moment because we're lacking oil, which we are importing now. I think we want more battleships. We'll get some more battleships for now. I'm not 100% sure on all the naval classes. Again, I'm not the best player at all. I'm still learning. All these armies here, and get them all together. They're going to join this frontier. We'll get a field marshal because he can hold as many men as possible. We can assign him to this front line there. So they'll all move down to there. We do want to create a new army just to the south here. This will be the Italian border. Trenchmen, that would be really good actually, because we're not planning to move against the Italians. We'll start to train more divisions as well. That will be important. So we'll train some of them, add a bunch of units to them, and we'll set their location down to just Paris, I suppose. I would be training up our units just to get that early army experience, but we don't have the manpower for it, especially considering we do have this, which, I mean, the recruitable population isn't that much of a loss there, but it's significant enough for me to worry. So we're building up military factories, production we really need to increase. Building units. Look at our logistics here. We're not producing too much light tanks, and even infantry equipment is going to take 395 days to get back, which is a very long time, as you can imagine. We will get, let's look at these. These are the mechanized units, and these are just the tanks. I want to look at the stats here. Can we do it? No, we cannot. Okay. We want armor. Even heart attack would be good, because the German tanks obviously infamous for their ability. So these are the mechanique. So heart attack 16, 24. Okay, so we just want the purely tank divisions. So we'll set that up in France as well. And okay, we'll unpause it for now. We're going to be playing relatively slowly, just while I sort of figure out, catch our bearings. I personally enjoy the day-night loop, but I understand for YouTube, especially if you're watching in 2x speed, it gets pretty obnoxious, so I'll leave it off for now. This man as well, we'll set up a plan against the Belgian border, but for now we won't have too many units assigned to that. We'll keep a few there for now. Even Luxembourg will be important to have a few men with, so we'll set up that border there and we'll assign them to that. They'll automatically be protecting that. So we do need a bit more oil, so I think we maybe go for someone a bit bigger like Romania, just so we start to get a surplus of it. I'm not sure if you can actually store it. I know in the last game you could, and even in the early access of this game you could trade, but I don't think you can actually store it now, which I suppose makes sense. It'd be pretty easy and just in the early game just to get a bunch of oil stored up, and then you don't have to worry about that at all during the rest of the campaign, which would be kind of broken. So 125 ships. The submarines will get into its own fleet. Do we have a submarine leader? Submarine attack. Jean-Pierre, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. If I butcher any names, I apologize, but nobody's perfect. So do we have any other large naval bases? There we go. One in Brittany. Brest. I know that's the Breton region, but I wasn't sure about the actual names of things. Right, okay. We want to keep this fleet separate. So there we go, we'll do that. We'll have to wait for these troops to train up, because again, we can't afford to keep dumping them all out because our manpower isn't that great. That's something we want to be looking at. So this gives us a bunch of military factors, which would be good. And getting the extra research slot as well is very important. Defensive focus. It's in the Maginot Line. It's the event, essentially in the Maginot Line. I'm not exactly sure what this does for us. It just changes people's opinions. Alpine forts. Levy on mass. Surprisingly doesn't give us more recruitable population. Interesting. Army reform. So it would be good to get that stuff early, but it's also very important to get your industry up early as well, because the earlier you can start producing more and more, then you can sort of snowball that into stuff later. I didn't quite realize how weak France was. Obviously they're quite beat up from World War I. They never truly recovered. That's part of the reason why they struggled to defend against the German advance. It is you. We will set up an offensive line, just to say here. I don't expect us to be able to actually push through that, especially because all this is mountains and it's just a nightmare to get through. But we can set it up just for the sake of setting it up, I guess. Could do the same as you. All the men on the Belgian border here. We will put them into a new army as well. I like to have it nice and organized. So, right, they need to have that set up there. This is Army 1, so we need to delete that order. It should be that one. There we go. Let's just see how that goes. When their first episode there, the first few episodes, as per usual, it's pretty setup based, so they will be a bit slow. I apologize for that, but I want to try and win this. I mean, France is obviously no walk in the park, but I'm feeling confident that enough that we could do it. So that's something I definitely want to try. So new series, give it some love as per usual, and I will see you guys next time.